Once again, my name is Zuleiha Dobia Abdullah. I feel they have actually outlined some of the things that also pushed me into technology, into starting a social enterprise too. So I ran a social enterprise called Developer, which is focused on getting more girls into technology. And I am into tech, and every time I go into spaces where I feel women are not really appreciating technology, I'm like, no, you have to appreciate technology. So I created that organization just to have the opportunity to speak to women like me and tell them that if I can do it, you can do it too. I started my education in Asamakese Senior High. When I mention it, people don't really know it because it's back there. But at least I went there. Surprisingly, my educational level is always somewhere. After Asamakese, I did business. I went to do computing with accounting in UDS. How many people know UDS? Okay, Navrongo is up there. I'm always going there. So that kind of exposure coming from a southern area to some of these areas gave me the opportunity to actually appreciate the life of other people outside Accra. And if you grow up in Accra, sometimes you be confused to think that everything is luxurious, everything is cool, everything, the systems run, even though we complain sometimes, even though we are in the south. But when you have the opportunity to go up there, like in Navrongo, where you are in school trying to learn about computer science, computing with accounting, and you are faced with some of the challenges as a woman, as somebody who is trying to get into technology, it's up there. You don't really see the technology firsthand. What you're learning is more theoretical. It's on book. So after I was done with university, I went to do my national service in Tamale, and up there. Yes. So I was up there, and I realized that there was a huge gap. One thing that changed everything for me was Vodafone was organizing a hackathon, and I applied because it's in technology. It's happening in Tamale. Wow, like this is my first time seeing technology happen. Let me apply. So I did apply, and then we had 50 participants, and we had just 5 females. And the funny thing is that 3 of these girls were from Kumasi and other places. Just 2 of us that were from Tamale. I was like, okay, I think it's time for you to start doing something rather than expecting it to be done. So then I bet Developer. And it's synergized in a way where I am the leader. I've always wanted to be in leadership positions back from junior high school. You see me, when I was in P4, I contested for a position. I went for an interview. They were like asking me questions, and I'm like, I was answering because I feel I need to be out there. My personality is sort of like dominant. I want to take charge of certain things. I don't want somebody to control how my life flows. I want to be the one to be the manager of my life and everything. So throughout my journey, it's always me being in leadership positions. When I went to secondary school, I was the class prefect. It's like you're in class and then they come in. Who wants to be the class prefect? I raised my hand. I was the only girl. And they were like, and then now, that was when I also faced the inequality when it comes to gender, because the guys were like, no, we are not going to allow a girl to be our leader. And I was like, you are coming from the south. You see women in my class, I stood for a position. So it's okay for me to see a girl having a position. Then I go all the way to secondary school, and then the guys are saying that they don't want me to lead them. And the teacher accepts that and makes us do a re-election. And the guy becomes the class prefect, and I become the assistant class prefect. And I was like, never in your life again. You're going to make sure everywhere you go, you become a leader. So that pushed me, and I was like, no. Every time I go somewhere, whether I am capable or not, I'll speak up. I'll be the only lady in the room, and I'll still speak up. I'll still dare to be different. I'll still want to push and do the things that I want to do, not because I'm female or because I'm a woman, but because I have the capabilities and then the skill set to do it. So from secondary school, I held so many positions. If I tell you right now, it's going to be boring. I went to university. I held some positions too. Then another eye-opener happened. When I was going to my final year, I stood for a position as SRC treasurer. Now I was the only girl on the campaign trail, and then we go for vetting, and I top my vetting, and guess the rumors out there. Oh, excuse me to say, oh, she slept her way through the panel. Oh, exactly. And you're like, so does it mean a woman cannot be the best in a vetting panel unless she does something other than her capabilities, her skill set, because she knows what she's talking about, because she went into the interview and she aced it? So another eye-opener. I'm not going to allow anybody to say that about myself. Every time I do something, I'm going to show my value out there. And so from there, when I am doing something, I say out there, if I'm going to school, sometimes in this part of the area, like, no, tone down, you don't want people to know what you're doing. But I'm doing that because at every step, I want you to appreciate the journey and understand how smooth or difficult it was for me. So that when I am on top of the pedestal, you wouldn't say it's because she cut corners or it's because she did that. So in terms of my life, it comes to leadership. I'm giving you two examples, two key insights that really opened my eye to understanding that I wanted to be a leader. In technology, I didn't see women being software developers when I was growing up, but I had a dad who was into technology because he was privileged to be outside the country. So he mentored me into the technology space. But I appreciated it because I went to do computing with accounting where I understood that, okay, this is coding, this is that, and I built a career from it. So this is how I actually came from my journey. Currently, I run a social enterprise called Developer. I'm all about the divas, developer, diva, developing. So you see, I'm cool like that too.
Wow, a
And
round of applause.
and
Oh, sorry.
and yeah, and I work with the government where I am in the technical department, the only female, trying to automate most of the processes in my organization. And I like to talk, speaking at events, collaborating, helping you understand that as a woman, you don't have to tone down. You just have to make sure you are shouting and then you are getting things done whilst you are shouting. So thank you very much. I'm privileged to be here, though.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I actually think it's